Hey, is that working now?
Does it work out?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah, I guess it's working. So yeah, you're starting a fire. You said.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting super proficient at it. Like I can get her going real quick. The trick is you want to get it as hot as possible. You do that by building it up progressively, but you need more surface area, so more surface area ignites. Once you get it nice and hot, everything just catches, even wetter stuff. But you have to make sure you got airflow. So I find that people throw too much shit on at once, cuts out the airflow. So part of me building quick to get the heat quick, I also fan it a lot, and it gets it going nice and fast when you fan it.
And so you start with like some kind of fine kindling or some kind of fire starter thing.
Paper,
Yeah, paper.
paper towel, paper bag. You could use like fine twigs and shit if you're in nature. That works too. But
Then how long you keep the fire going? Does it get dark there at some
it's already
point?
dark.
Oh.
Yeah, it's already dark. So, well, the sun's just went down. So, but yeah, I could just keep it going as long as I want. And when I'm done with it, I just throw the lid on and take away or get away.
There was a video game that came out on Switch 2 recently that was just like about starting a fire. And it was like a 4-player multiplayer game where you're on a beach and you're like starting a fire together. But people said it was sort of like light in terms of content. But there's something interesting there though. The concept of starting a fire and having a fire seems fairly core to the human like experience.
Yeah, so much so that our digestive tract has evolved to align with cooked food instead of raw food.
What do you use this? Do you just starting this fire to like sit around it, or do you cook anything on the fire sometimes?
I don't cook. No, not on the fire. Really looking at it as a form of meditation for me.
Oh yeah.
But I figure it'd be better to be by a fire talking to you instead of sitting in my room. And I think I'm right. I think I made a good call.
We should pipe in like the noise of the fire, like set up a third microphone just for the fire.
It's not a bad idea. So I've been reading a book called Island from Aldous Huxley. That guy is legendary. Like he is way ahead of his time. The stuff that he's talking about.
When did this book come out?
1960 something. But it was after Brave New World, which was in 1930 something. And Brave New World is a utopia. And I'm just like, they actually made a series after it. And it's a world that I would want to live there if I was a beta or an alpha. Probably I would want to be an alpha, knowing what I know now. But he talks about like ideal society, civilizations, and that one was like, if you were to wipe the slate clean and have whatever you want. I mean, the world that he created, the utopia he created, is outstanding. But there's it kind of revolves around pharmaceuticals, like Soma, I think it's called, so that you don't have to feel discomfort or any significant amounts of pain. And they stay young, they don't age. They're just procedures that are done that are non-invasive that just keep them young. And so you just, you're a child and you're promiscuous and you grow up with your specialty, and then you just remain an adult like a 25-year-old the rest of your life, and you screw whoever you want because there's birth control, and they don't have babies sperm doesn't mean egg in the womb kind of thing, or in the uterus. It's all test tube stuff. So the idea of being a mother or father is repulsive. They're against that kind of attachment. And I was like, I didn't have to fan this fire. That's great. But I just realized it saying it now. There was sort of like a hard-on against attachment in the first one, motherly attachment, attachment to others. And then in the second book, Island, I just figured out that the people on the island, it's like the forbidden island called Pala. I think they're Indian, but not Indian. So brown, but completely different culture, completely different everything. And like they talk about Buddhism and attachment in that book as well. And I kind of, before I even started getting into the island, I was not really liking it. I was like 50 pages in because I just had a hard time. Like his language is extremely advanced. And so like pretty much every fourth word I don't understand. Like I have to look up the dictionary.
Yeah, I don't like that stuff. I wish someone should like translate it to be simpler.
Yeah. But like I was going to respond to, I keep getting, the algorithm and Facebook pushes me financial shit and other stuff. And I'm moving away from it. I've already built enough wealth to retire. I'm good. I see the world for what it is. I don't like capitalism. It's making me sick. It's making everybody around me sick. And there was a comment about like from Rich Dad Poor Dad's, like not the cash flow quadrant, it's the second book. Basically just a 3 little diagrams of cash flow or the way money works for poor people, middle class, and rich. And it's overly simplistic, and it just shows that like rich people make money and they spend, and that's it. And then the middle class people have some assets, but also liabilities. They still need an income. May or may get something from they may or may not get something from their assets. Their house is, for the most part, a liability. And then the rich people, they don't work. They just live off of the passive income from their assets. And I look at this and I'm like, oh, that's fine and dandy. But like, what Robert leaves out is the complexities involved with managing and creating and managing entities. You need lawyers, you need accountants, blah, blah, blah. And every time you put your money to work, you're put at risk. And you're at risk of being frauded. And, it's like there's a tremendous amount of risk and work that goes into actually putting your money to work on the rich side. And I know all this, and I've experienced pretty much most of it, with the exception of entrepreneurship, and I'm not really interested in it because I don't have anything I'm really passionate about. I don't want to add any more to capitalism. I'm against adding new. I could easily set up like an e-commerce thing, right. But I'm against creating more waste and having a carbon footprint, like increasing my carbon footprint. I want to reduce it. So I'm also aware like entities, working people. I've already done the leadership piece, so like with the military. So I don't want to do entrepreneurship, but I pretty much had a taste of everything to know finally what I don't want. I'm trying to figure out what I do want, but I write up my comment saying that, Robert misses what I just talked about. Like he doesn't talk about that, the work that goes into this shit. And also everything from Rich Dad Poor Dad is frankly antiquated and geared towards the US only. Canada, that's not applicable. Different rules. There's no like upgrading your house and avoiding capital gain tax or whatever. I mean, yeah, you get your primary house. If you sell, it's tax free, but it's not the same. Like if you have a real estate portfolio and like every home in the States, there's depreciation and you got to write off if you sell it, like you're paying capital gains tax. It's just how it works there, unless you're upgrading. Different rules. And yeah, Robert's book is interesting. It has some good principles and whatever, but he even says it himself, any financial book out there or education that's old gold is a liability. And I totally agree. And I just read The Wealthy Barber, the first one. And, you know, there was a couple good things in there about confirming I don't need life insurance because I don't have dependents. But there was some, like, really antiquated shit in there. I'm like, yeah, no, this is not accurate anymore. And I threw it in the recycle bin because I'm not going to give that to somebody else to read because it's old. And Wealthy Barber Returns, it's a bit more relevant. I'd have to read it a fourth time to figure out if it's super relevant. I mean, probably goes on. Oh yeah, that's it. Wealthy Barber talks about mutual funds, and I'm like, yeah, no, don't fucking do mutual funds. They're taking 2% off the top, so fuck those guys.
Yeah, that is interesting. I feel like if an individual has a certain amount of money, they can do mutual funds, and it can like seemingly work for them because they're making like enough of a return in absolute dollars that they feel like it's a good response. But then yeah, for like a person who's trying to become more wealthy, that 2% slows them down a lot. But like a rich person wouldn't be sensitive to that kind of loss because they're probably like hiring someone anyway to like manage all the manage this stuff anyway. So yeah, it's like they get less of an ability to, like, they can't do things as optimally and as minimalist as someone who like needs to. They always end up wasting more than needed.
2% over 30 years is like being lost or taken away. It's massive, just massive.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do the math to show it, but I've seen it over and over again. Even David in the book, their math, like 2% is a huge difference, and yet he's still kind of talking about mutual funds like that's the way to go. Anyway, where am I going with all this? So I take the comment that I do this now for spell check and whatever else. I throw it in the chat GPT, right? Because if I don't proofread, I don't even proofread. I just throw it in chat GPT and then I proofread. And it went off. It went down a rabbit hole or whatever. Like, went off the deep end about like wanting to create my North Pole, North Star statement. And I was like, sure, if I can go ahead if you want to hear it. And it said something really cool. And I took a screenshot of it too. I got to pull up right campfire. But a couple things it pulled from was Stoicism and Buddhism. And with the Stoic part, it's like, it says, after analyzing everything I've inputted about money for the last year and a bit, it was like, wealth is neutral, but the pursuit of it and like being obsessed by it is what's toxic. Something to that effect. And then with Buddhism, basically suffering is attachment.
Suffering is what?
Attachment.
What
so I'm gonna get the actual
what does
line.
Buddhism say? Suffering.
Suffering.
Yeah.
Attachment is suffering. That's like,
It's a what? Your voice was cutting out when you said that. I heard suffering is some kind of word, but what?
So suffering arises from attachment. Simplicity in mind is free.
Oh, attachment. Yeah.
Our star drafted form. I built to support freedom. My assets exist to serve my life the other way around. It's not simplicity. Well, is wealth. And you're analyzing it. Like basically put everything in.
Well, your voice is kind of cutting out. Once you started reading that stuff, your voice was cutting out a lot. It's not really hearable. Maybe there's a better, if you moved somewhere, maybe there's a better signal. Yeah, in the original place.
I'm outside, man. So that's fine.
Yeah, that was interesting. Because everything you said up until you started like reading from the book, it was very clear, and then it was like very like robotic and dropping. That was
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's not meant to be, but
Well,
it kind of.
so you
I just
said
realized, like,
originally there's a book called The Island.
no, just island, not the island.
Oh,
Yeah, and he wrote
but yeah,
in
what were you saying?
1960s, but he's like trying to communicate through the characters and through the progression of the plot what his ideal society is in the modern age. So not like uh, utopia created from nothing, but more like what with capitalism, communism, whatever. That's what you are. How to have an ideal healthy society, and he's sort of like going through and three characters, like the character was by this doctor, and there's like other characters that have like, their experiences, and even go down and shit. It's like right, and how it like frees the mind, and so obviously he's not gonna like he knows it, right? But like a financial system that isn't built with commercial banks, and what was it? I don't know, I can't do any justice. This guy obviously put years into this book, but I just think it's incredible, and the whole seems to be encouraging like suffering is caused by attachment. So
Yeah, that's
I
an
as a
interesting statement. Suffering cause. Yeah.
but it does when we become overly attached to another person, they can hurt us. If we become overly attached to our possessions, we can become possessive. If those possessions are damaged or stolen, they can wound us. If you become indifferent from to things, or you appreciate a relationship, become attached, then yeah, you can avoid suffering. I think part of it, we're programmed to seek other people to have um, fellowship. So we need to be on those numbers. I do wonder. Now they say that like the quality of our friendships really plays the quality of our life. But I wonder, do we really need community? Do we really need family? I yes, but I don't have a strong family. I don't really have community, and I'm getting by off with the friendships that I have, being around people periodically. But I very much value my alone time because I'm becoming more and more comfortable with myself. And I listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
And Hillary, Elizabeth, something. She's like, and then the future. And divorce is she's alone for 5 years. And she's okay with that. So she's probably on sub. Can't fucking slow head and my terrible memories impressive, but uh, uh, it's just like oh, has like relationships. She picks and chooses what she wants to do. She has boundaries in place, and isn't even a woman, especially boundaries expectations. She's honoring what it is that she wants, and she realizes like she's not good in a relationship. She's better off by herself, and she spends a good chunk of her time by herself working on projects, and then gets a little bit of fulfillment from people here. It's part of our program, but she's well enough. It's like we all truly need community, family to be happy. I think it can better our lives. But someone like me who has RFD, which is basically oversensitivity to rejection and criticism and stuff. Because I there's no between for me in my normal state. And that's why I'm detached from rejection. I can just myself. It's a struggle, and I'm sure a lot of other people go through the struggle.
Yeah, like a struggle and a balance to have like the right amount, not too much, not too little of like time, like social time and social commitments and stuff.
Yeah. So I think it's all about balancing acts. And what's interesting too is like I'm discovering who I am after 36 years because the entire time I've been institutionalized. Like, as a child, you don't know fucking anything, right? But as you get older, you go through school and school again and maybe school again, depending on how far you want to go. And I joined the military, which is so I was on the receiving end of the Pygmalion effect, and I was fed resources and compliments, and excel. And then I go to join the military, and I'm shit on every other fucking day. They pull it bring me down. And yeah, my confidence, whatever. The entire institution, I'm bullied by an organization, and if I did to perform a certain role, do a certain task, and one hand, this recently is rewarded. Food is provided, but on the other hand, you're a slave, and so there is no time. They don't really give you a lot of time to figure out who you are. Like you either doing the studies, or you're doing homework after the fact, or extracurriculars. Like I talk about, and so it's culture brown, paired with extreme loneliness if you're posted away from your friends and family, and so a lot of people turn to substances and they try to escape. Who I am and what makes me tick. And I just realized that, I might be autistic. You mean, yeah. Fuck you.
Yeah, same for... No, I'm agreeing to... I wonder if that was delayed. I said, you said... I said yeah in agreement to you like discovering who you are, but then you said you might be partially autistic, and then and then I think my yeah finally made it to your side, which made it seem like I was agreeing at the wrong time. No, I also feel I think there's like a wide spectrum of like there's a whole neurodiversity thing that everyone is somewhere on, and it's not even like it's some people like we may have like traits of autism and other things mixed in there, and there's a whole like combination that and I feel like it's not even about whether we're like diagnosable or not. It's like learning about these different neurodiverse things can give us information about the like our own preferences and what like might resonate with us. But yeah, on the topic of like discovering who we are, I feel like when I've sat down and tried to create like art in different kinds of content, different kinds of like video content, or recently I've been like recording like hip hop songs about different stuff. And whenever I make something that I'm proud of, I feel like it acts as like a little like save point, or once I watch or listen to my own content like back, I feel like I see myself much more clearly, because it almost like it's almost like I tell my own story as it really happened through my experience in the form of like a pleasing like song or video. And then when I watch it back, it's like I'm hearing the story of what happened. And it's like that's the first moment where I can like I'm no longer like wishing it was different or better. It's just like laid out in a pleasing way as like a story that's being told. And when I watch it back, it's like fun to be like, I'm the person in that story, even if like the character goes through hardship or whatever. Like in the story that I've told, it's like I'm proud to be like that character that's now in some sense like immortalized in the story. It's just like one story of a person, and it can't be like better or worse. It's just is what it is. But I find it's very, I think it's very powerful and like healing to take a like an experience we had and translate it into some kind of art form or a song or medium. And then once we have that, it it feels like it does, it like wraps up like a chapter, or like we don't have to think about something and dwell on it anymore. We have this item of content that represents it in some way, and I find at least that like that lessens the amount that I'm almost like like I feel like I'm concerned about stuff in my past that like slowed me down or had effects where I feel like, oh, if it was a different way I could have done better. But as soon as I like translate it into like a pleasing story, and even not a pleasing story that like hides any of the hardship, but like appreciates it or whatever, then uh yeah, then I feel like now that piece is like lit up, and then I'm excited to like address other stuff, that other experiences I had, and create in this case like hip hop songs about them, and almost like transform them into like stuff that are like pieces of content that I'm kind of proud of. And then altogether it slowly becomes like my life is a collection of these like nice songs and videos and stuff that don't hide don't hide the real reality of what happened like at any moment or how I was feeling. Like they accurately represent what I was doing, but then like a viewer of it or myself, like you get the whole emotional, like the ups and the downs, and at the end of the day it makes this nice collection of stuff. And then it's like, yeah, that's a good, even the bad days and the good days are all like part of the experience, and it's part of the overall like piece. And then it makes me feel like proud to have done all that stuff rather than seeing it as like good and bad days or something. It's all just like part of the song music or whatever.
Yeah, I get that with composing piano. Totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also finding journaling too, putting pen to paper when I'm not making piano songs. Like it's capturing my thoughts, feelings, connecting the dots. Could be a good day or a bad day, but it's like, just creating something. Our brains are so complex, so big. It's like they have to work, have to do something, create something. It's like a lot of people are driven by legacy, creating a legacy. I mean, and I don't know. I don't feel like I need to create a legacy. And there's so many sometimes. I think just not doing their damage is important enough. So I'm not really driven by that. Now, if I find something that I'm interested in, like if I can help in some way with like disaster or whatever, and really like not just do it because I think everybody else is like think it's cool or whatever, do it for myself where I'm actually impacting life on the ground. I think that would be interesting. That'd be nice. But I don't feel like
for that kind of stuff I see it as like, oh yeah, I think I feel similar. I feel like a lack of attachment to those kind of things because like my life never contained like me being part of a natural disaster, so I can't exactly empathize. But I feel like if I went and did some disaster relief, then I wouldn't have like directly experienced what the people went through, but I would like have a firsthand, like it would almost be like going there as like an unofficial journalist, like going there helping out. But by doing that, we gain all the info, like we see firsthand the devastation and what happens. And then like I guess firstly we actually help, we do sandbags or whatever, but then secondly we take away that experience, and then that becomes like part of how we view the world, is like firsthand knowledge of the effects of a certain disaster. And I feel like that's like this a little bit of a selfish like takeaway, is like we gain the experience by having like permission to go there and observe, by under the pretense of like helping, which we are helping. So it's kind of useful, but it's like a way to like see stuff that we wouldn't otherwise really be able to get there. But that's what makes me interested in that kind of stuff, is like, it's just it would be like, you can sort of go places and do like really wild things. And it is like kind of hell, like if you show up and you help, then no one can say that you're like just a tourist or something, but hopefully you actually do help people, but then also you get rewarded with like firsthand viewing of something that can't be experienced in any other way or something like that.
Yeah. More experiences and that we have, different places, different level of suffering, more appreciation we can have, more gratitude we can have. But no, I would say like gratitude is something that you practice every day. I find that's like the best form of, I don't know, meditation, but it's like just by appreciating what you have to be present instead of always wanting more, trying into the future, yearning for something or regretting in the past. You just be present and be happy for what you have. I mean, that's I don't know what that's is. It's when you don't really, when you're not pursuing something, you don't want something, just you're content. But that to me is happy.
Yeah, I would like to go like observe more people. I want to like see like firsthand like monks or people like in other countries that like they live off a smaller like wage and they have like less possessions, but they're embedded in a system where like they have 100% value. That's something almost that I would want to see, like kind of documentaries, or I would want to go on retreats where I get to just be around people that are like very content, but clearly have like less capitalism resources than I do, just so that I can very clearly see like these people are happy and content and confident and healthy, and they're like none of it is coming from like monetary wealth or something. I feel like those kind of stories don't get told very well, and that's kind of unfortunate. I feel like everyone kind of doesn't hear that, from people, because those people are content, and they don't become like motivational speakers charging like a high ticket price for their things. They're just like, they're content and they're happy. They don't feel compelled to like write a book and get money and fame. They'll just they'll talk to the people around them, but then it's like there's a problem where that message can't get out because those people are not like passionately, adamantly arguing, or they're not like anxious or worried that the world is not like understanding what they're doing. They're just like doing it themselves and being happy, content with themselves. And that makes the message like slow down in terms of getting broadcast, which is just like a dilemma or something.
Yeah, I don't know too much about them. I got like the visuals in my head based off of the occasional movie. And have you ever seen that? Like one of the minor characters was going to go and stay with the monastery for like, I don't know, a year or something, study them. I don't know if it was for school or just personal interest, but it was a girl that was, from money. And she had a taste of it, and I don't think it was for her. But like, I kind of see my happier days because like she was put into a room and had basic food and whatever else. There was like, she received a couple, I don't know, sermons from the head. I don't know if it was a Dalai Lama or who, but yeah, not content. Was used to a life of luxury and richness. But I looked at it and I'm like, I could be content in that setting. A very simple room, simple people, simple food. Like I just season with salt. Like just salt and hunger makes food makes the taste go a long way, I tell you.
Yeah.
And something about the monks, from what I've seen, like you see them doing crazy shit, like boiling in a fucking tub of hot water or, punching through concrete. But, the pursuit of personal growth. So just going to the gym and being active, that's a pillar of a healthy lifestyle. Healthy eating, I guess eating plain, nutritious foods meets that. And then if you don't have stressors and you're able to sleep consistently, that's another pillar of a healthy lifestyle. And you got like your community. So it might be a good way to live, a simple way to live. As long as they're growing their body and growing their mind, then yeah.
Yeah, and it's almost hard to add anything to that lifestyle and then argue that additional thing is necessary. Like if you look at that simple monk lifestyle, and then if one tried to make the argument like some piece of technology or some kind of comfort is needed in order to improve the quality, it's very hard to argue that, because it's sort of like, but giving up that comfort brings one like closer to the goal. So then you end up back at this very simple lifestyle where like everything above that, everything additional is like a distraction from really just sitting and thinking. Like what else can we do other than sit and have pleasant thoughts or something?
Read, learn, experience. I mean, I got a big fucking head, which means I have a big brain. Like I didn't realize how big my head was until I saw a picture of my aunt just sent me today. I used to have hair to cover it all, and it was like Dragon Ball Z hair, so we couldn't really tell. Like it made my head look smaller, but now my hair is going, and it was going 5 years ago, 6 years ago from when this picture was. Actually, I might have grown hair back because like I was more bald in that picture. It's fucking like, what's going on? But I had a big head, big shiny melon, and I need to consume knowledge on a regular basis, or I get bored and stir crazy. And I need to train my body to on a regular basis, otherwise I get anxiety, right? So it's like, what do? You don't sit there and just fucking meditate. I go insane. Like I want to learn and grow and read and
yeah. On that topic, do you find sometimes that it like there'll be people around you that you can like have conversations with, but once
okay.
Yeah, you don't have to leave.
All right, cool.
Why, you have to come and run? I'm not. Am I scared?
No, I'm on a call.
Oh, you're on a call.
Yeah. You guys are scary. I was gonna press mute, but I didn't get to it in time. Anyway,
those are they could be special guests on that 1 second of this.
Her friend, yeah.
I was thinking like sometimes it feels like if if you or I, like I wonder if you can relate to this, like you dive into a topic and very quickly you get a lot of information about it, and then like the next time you talk to someone about that topic, there's like a much wider gap between like they start saying stuff and you're like, oh yeah, that point or that argument, like you can sort of see very quickly like the level they're at or how much they've thought about it, because you can like becoming very well versed in anything, you start to realize like how little anyone else knows, and then it becomes like very hard to talk about that topic because of the informational like gap. And so sometimes I feel like, if I learn a ton about everything, then it becomes difficult. Like you meet someone and a topic like comes up, and it's sort of like I have a ton to say or deliver on this topic, and then the other person is like hasn't really thought about it that much, and it becomes like a little bit like frustrating to just, then you start encountering a lot of people that are like not where you need them to be to like advance the conversation, and it starts to feel like isolating. And then it's almost like I worry that I get smart enough on many things that I just don't have patience anymore for like other people not meeting me at whatever arbitrary line I'm at or something.
Well, yeah, the more intelligent you get, like you just want to be able to have a conversation with somebody who can hold a conversation with you. And there's a series out called, what was it, Alien Earth, and the trillionaire boy prodigy is like, well, in the story he's a genius, but he's building like AI hybrids, hoping and putting multiple supercomputers in one of their heads. I don't know if he did it for everyone, but the idea is like that they grow and evolve to be intelligent enough for him to have a proper conversation with. That's all he wants.
That's an interesting thing to like meditate on, is like what, like the world's smartest genius surely could figure out a way to be, it's almost like they should figure out a way to be less smart by whatever requirement they have for something to be like smart enough or something. They should be able to invent a way of thinking such that they can like lower their own standards back to where like whatever nonsense anyone says, they're able to like build a whole worldview around that nonsense, such that nonsense that just got said was like the most impressive piece of information, like the final piece to the worldview of some construction. And that it's almost like that's what you'd kind of expect. Like otherwise, because it's like, if you're a genius, why adopt a model of thinking that makes you feel very lonely and not content? Why not like jot down like a whole philosophy all of a sudden that lets you like be entertained a lot by any sort of person? Like almost like design like some kind of game where you can talk to anyone, and it's under the pretense of like an improv, like you just make everything an improv bit where like the point is to like entertain that other person, and therefore it's like you've become indistinguishable from like a regular person, or like someone pretending to be a regular. But that would be an interesting like angle to approach like that story of like the one genius, like figure out how can they solve the problem of themselves being like a genius almost.
Well, that's why he created the hybrid, so that eventually they can hopefully grow and evolve into someone to have a conversation with. I personally wouldn't want to dull down my intelligence if I was that smart. But yeah.
But then I guess though the measurement of the smartness is like, can that person use their smartness to like help other people, which is hard to do if they're not able to like tolerate, like however smart they are, it's just them, right? Like anything they do is very isolated to themselves. So it's like, if you had to pick someone to like help other people, this very smart person wouldn't be able to do it because they can't find a way to like associate with regular people. So it's almost like they're too smart for their own good or something. I don't know.
Yeah. What he was trying to do,
it's like,
at least in
yeah,
the show, is solve immortality. So I mean, that's how he's trying to like give back.
That's interesting too. I often think about immortality like removes, like if you give humans immortality, it removes a lot of the stuff that I think we really think is important about the human condition and the human experience. Like all of a sudden we can no longer relate to anyone. Like every human has always died or been thinking about death. And the second you get immortality, you can't empathize with any human that ever existed because they're all characterized by the lifespan and the fact that they died. And then so you immediately can't like relate to any human. And then when you sit down and you think like you want to feel motivated to accomplish something, you have like infinite time, which is not, I feel like the human brain is not very good at being given infinite time and like infinite resources. It makes the brain like not able to, it's very hard to make progress when you have like unlimited resources. There's no constraints. And that's in it. So then I wonder about that, like a genius trying to invent immortality. I wonder what that genius, like what their idea is about why is that going to be like good or something, you know? It feels, yeah, it almost feels like like the most primitive human brain wants to live. Like that's all it wants is to live. But then you make that very primitive human brain super intelligent, but still have it focus on that most basic desire of like the most basic like caveman is like they all think like living forever is the goal, of course, like living as long as possible. Any brain needs to like believe that. So then yeah, you scale it all the way up and like the super intelligent brain is still going after that very basic original goal and not like challenging the premise of that goal by like outsmart like realizing in conclusion we don't want to live forever and therefore like we already have what we want, which is like a limited lifespan, and then figuring almost like trying to prevent the invention of immortality or something, or like educate people to not want that.
Well, humans can't be immortal. Our programming, it wouldn't work well with our brains.
Yeah.
It would have to be something else besides a human. If you could take our consciousness and put it into a synthetic being, maybe that would work. And that's what this individual is trying to do. But I'm sure there's going to be some disconnects between the human consciousness and a fake body. Because yeah, it's like if you were alive forever, everybody you know and love dies eventually, unless they're all immortal too. But there is something about having taking things for granted. But I do wonder though, if you practice gratitude and you have new experiences, and if there's a collective, you can, as a group, propel whatever you are, race or whatever, forward into space to explore the unknown. I mean, like there's infinite possibilities. The galaxy alone is unbelievably massive. You can explore and learn what's out there. There's just so much to do. So as long as you're keeping busy and not sitting idly on your thumb, and there's others who can last as long as you and who are as intelligent as you, who can develop the technology to get into space, to explore eventually, then, it could maybe work. But
it's interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
I would take it. I mean, in my, not my recent journal entry, but my second last one, like I was writing about, shedding the shell kind of thing, but yet not the experiences. So being able to leave the body and to explore, to experience, to not be like stuck and contained on the earth kind of thing. And also like held down by possessions. Always circling back to that. So like the thing that occupies my brain at night before I go to sleep is the US properties. I want them gone. I want the contracts to end, the lawsuit to end. I just don't want it. I could walk away from the lawsuit and be fine, but like I don't want to deal with the real estate stuff anymore. I don't want to deal with the possessions, the assets. I'm tired of being owned by shit.
Yeah.
I want to be free of it all. So like part of that too is like if I could just escape everything that's material, it still exists. That was an interesting journal entry. And I didn't really even think before writing it that's what I was going to write. It just sort of kind of popped on the page, but
yeah. With those kind of journal entries, I feel like hip hop and lyrical rap really lends itself well, because you can take a journal entry like that and just punch it up with like rhyming couplets and like rap it to a beat, and then by definition like the song is literally just like the singer explaining, or like the rapper like talking through exactly what they want the audience to think. And so when the song is complete, it's just like a literal description of what the song is about in the song. But then it's like kind of uncharted territory to me. Like if, let's say, you compose a piece of piano that is inspired by the journal article, and that when someone listens to it, it makes them feel the same way that the journal article like makes someone feel if they read it. That's like uncharted territory to me to know, like, is it like how much, like I feel like people have to be kind of good at listening to music in order to receive complex feelings from music. I feel like I'm only able to receive, like, if I hear a beat that sounds good, then I feel good. And that's pretty much my like emotional range of feeling like in music. It's hard for me to listen to something and have like a dislike, like I mean movie soundtracks are kind of capable of like bringing one through like this, like the feelings of like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so then it's almost like the mediums don't like exactly line up. But certainly like that journal article would be one thing. Music makes people feel, and if you put them together, that feels, even just like reading the journal article like in a video, I feel like there could be like backing music that's fitting, and that would really that would really like increase that would be like a package that can be delivered to someone. They can really feel the correct way or something.
I feel that music doesn't need lyrics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't. I almost feel, yeah, like that's definitely. I'm like very bothered by a lot of any pop song that's like repeating lyrics or only has a few words they say and they keep saying them. That really bothers me. So then I had this phase where I just wanted to listen to like only the instrumentals and only the music and like no words. Like words were very distracting. But then I came across
Right.
this like kind of hip hop where like they start talking at the beginning of the song and they just rap like as fast as they can, saying new stuff every time. The verses don't repeat, and then when they stop talking, the song ends. And that's also a like valid to me, is where it's like it's almost like you don't get a chance to even, like, it's just like injecting you with exactly what they want. Like there's no weight or there's no dead weight or something. So I like either extreme. I like pure words or no words, but somewhere in
Yeah.
between I have problems with. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm on board
Yeah.
with that. I listen to orchestra
Yeah, it's
music.
interesting.
I feel like the message is communicated through the notes, and there's a lot of nice songs out there that come up on my Spotify Discover Weekly. Like the notes are good, like it follows a formula, it's good, but there's no feeling, there's no emotion behind a
Right.
lot of the
Yeah, that's a
songs
good
that I
point.
hear, and I think maybe
Yeah.
just because these artists lack, I don't know, the life experience, the emotion,
Mm.
yeah. So like when I play, I feel like emotions, good or bad, flow through me. I can like feel the music, and then people who are listening can feel it too. And
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, I'm gonna play a C chord and then a D and then an E and then I'm gonna smash some notes that go with it. I don't even know what I'm gonna play. It just sort of comes. I just feel what comes next. And sometimes it works, and then sometimes it doesn't work. And I develop it
Mm.
until it does work. But yeah, no, a lot of times there's a few artists where I sense the emotion through the music, but then there's a lot that I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I find that too. A lot of stuff is like noise that I can't really interpret. And then I'll find a few things that just resonate so perfectly that it's like, where, I always wonder, like, where's all the other stuff that's like the good stuff that I find? It always feels like there's a few gems, and it's like, are people not seeing these gems and replicating them? Like, uh, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't deliver anything. Yeah.
Hmm. And I suspect it's because they're just trying to monetize it. But if I were to put
Right.
my stuff
Yeah.
out there, like on Spotify, and like really put that effort in, it's not to make money. It's, to share the experience. Like my bosses in the military apparently would fall asleep listening to my stuff with their wife. It's like,
That's
I was
funny.
like, yeah, and I don't take that. I mean, that's really nice. Like it's almost too nice. So nice. I don't know if I believe you. But yeah, no, it's like very gentle, relaxing music. And it's like, okay, if that is purpose to help people fall asleep or study, then have at her.
Yeah.
The podcast I was listening to, Hillary, I'm gonna pull up her name. So it's Timothy Ferris. He wrote the 4-Hour Work Week, which basically changed my life and got me out of the military. And yeah, well, it wasn't just him; it was Rich Dad Poor Dad, him, and some other resources. But I think he was actually the one that sort of stemmed it all. Just challenging the current 9-to-5 system, and you don't need to work 40 hours a week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So the lady's name is Elizabeth Gilbert. #1 New York Times bestselling author, Big Magic and Eat, Pray, Love, City of Girls, etc. Yeah, forgot the point I was going to make. Shit. Good podcast. There was a lot of insightful things that both of them have said. I just can't remember where I was going with it.
Well, yeah, the people like that are certainly, they collect a lot of interesting things. I feel like their core message is similar to what we're thinking, but then it's a bit suspicious when they get too popular and monetized and they become like life gurus kind of. It's
Yeah.
like, and even like maybe they themselves remain honest, but at some level of popularity, it's no longer the same. Like the sort of message changes because of the status of the person it's coming from. And it's like still good info, but then you wonder like if we start missing the point because we like start creating these individuals who have like a strong brand rather than the content itself or something. But yeah. I gotta head out and talk to my other friend. But that was a good conversation.
Good chat, man. All right, I'll catch you next time.
Yeah, I'll see you then.
Take care.